welcome to the Surviving Nairobi Christmas special for 2021, 3 years straight. This is now a tradition, by the way. It's now a thing we do. Unfortunately, for this special, for the first time ever on the Christmas special, Livia Yuko, she has prior engagements that she might not angeza kutoka. But sawa. The show goes on in the immortal words of Lupe Fiasco.
Sure.
And on this episode, tumetaka on the show for a very long time. In fact, I'm sure Ivy is very disappointed she's not here.
Ivy has tried to get me on the show.
Uh-huh.
Damn, I'm sorry, Ivy.
The new hapa ni hali ya maisha.
It's life.
Kubali matokeo. The words of my mother. Kubali matokeo.
Kubali matokeo.
Please, I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name is Blinky, also known as Blinky. Happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmad.
Sindio?
Christmas! Ho, ho, ho.
Unacheki, like, and it's not only one type of hoe, by the way.
Yes. Farm equipment.
Yes.
Farm implements.
Na vitu mingi sana. So many hoes out here.
Yes.
Spreading cheer.
Yes.
You don't need to be wearing a red suit and have a white beard to spread a lot of cheer. Just be a hoe.
Yeah. Just ho, ho, ho.
Now, tukianza.
Yes.
Why did you name yourself after a cartoon koala bear? Because a lot of people don't even know.
About the cartoon koala.
Because you need to be a certain age.
Yeah.
To remember there was like the Blinky Bill and the forest and everything.
Yeah.
Like, what was the inspiration? Did you like think of a name and was like, okay, yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where when you're starting out, like when we were starting out with just a band, I remember seeing my name in the newspapers, Bill Salanga. I was like, God, I don't want to be like that. I don't want that to be my official, like my performing name. But also, it's funny, like, I never thought that it would reach this level where people would even be asking me about the name, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's just, pick a name and we go. So then you end up being like, oh. But also, one of my favorite producers is Danger Mouse, who is also named after an old school cartoon character. So I think in my head I rationalized that, oh, okay, it's like if he has that name and it works, I'm gonna own this name and it works. Which is, and now that I look back at it, I'm like, I could have chosen a better name.
But in retrospect, everybody could have chosen a better name.
Yeah.
Like, it's the name you have now. Like, what name? Jina yako ni gani sir? Like, you don't want to be Bill Salange anymore. What you gonna be? You wanna be Blinky Bill? And then like, you're like, fuck, I could have said this.
I could have said like, Ombudsman.
Nah, no, my man. That's not better. That's what jokes was it?
Yeah, so...
Is it Ombudsman a dude in parliament?
Yeah, or something. I don't know what I'd have chosen. But I feel like this year I did it's always a good conversation starter because I did a podcast with Spotify earlier this year. And I think sometimes it's such they're like, wait, there's a Kenyan called Blinky Bill? Like, why? And it's a good conversation starter for someone who was, the person who was doing the interview was from Australia. So they're like, wait, they have Blinky Bill over there? Yeah, you know. But we're also, as Kenyans, we are so exposed to so many different things.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's always shocking to the rest of the world. They're like, what? We didn't know that it moved that far.
I think Kenyans consume a lot of media, even from before the pre-internet days.
Yeah.
TV used to be, like, interesting. You just get shows from all over the world.
Yeah.
I forgot about yeah, okay, this makes sense to me.
It makes sense. And it still is like that if you think about it, because sometimes even when people talk about a Kenyan sound, I think it's almost too late for that conversation, in my opinion.
Of course.
Because we have so many different sounds, and also because radio and there's no restrictions. Any Kenyan artist is going to be competing with the best of the best in the world. Where if there's a protectionist law, let's say you have to play 80% Kenyan music, or the way it is in Nigeria. Like they don't know a lot of music that's not
Their
the
music.
biggest music in the world and their music.
Uh-huh.
While with Kenya, it's like we're exposed to so much. Like a new artist wherever in the world can come to Kenya and have a fan base. While it's very hard for other places to be like when you see like Omale or all those people coming here, we don't have free exchange with our new artists playing in Nigeria or playing in South Africa or playing wherever. But the new artists can come to Kenya because like
that's a show. Like
we know
who
who
is.
these guys are.
I've never
Which is always
thought about it like that.
Yeah.
You consume so much. I know any artist unakuja una perform huku, like there's bound to be a handful of people who are going to be like, yeah, fuck with you.
Like yeah. Which I think it's cool. It's only that it's a big problem because their home states are not like that. So we extend generosity to other people that we generally
Do not get back.
or give. There's certain Kenyan artists who will get that kind of love, but it's not for everyone. So,
and your story, a new artist, that's a very important thing because I've never really considered it like that. Really, like because guys like Thames, Ayastar, or Malay, Rema, those are guys who blew up in the past like 2-3 years. Those guys aren't established artists.
Yeah.
But somebody from Nigeria who blew up. If Two-Face was come do a show, he'll still sell out. I've been listening to Two-Face for now 20 plus years, and I've never really thought about that time difference.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Sauti Sol, if they do a show in Nigeria, they'll get numbers, but that's gonna be like because of how long they put in the effort. Because the biggest song in Kenya, like the biggest artist, like the biggest new artist, it'll be very difficult for them kwenda huko and be like, yo, I'm so and so, I've done, and be like, nobody knows who you are over here.
Bruh. Yeah.
And you feel like, how can we even fix that? Amani, if you a point where it's just like, just let Kenyans do what they want.
Fix what exactly?
Like the thing of, we don't, hatujulikani huko, or is it not like a thing we can fix?
I think it can be fixed if because sometimes it happens that a big song is also lucky. Let's say like Party After Party, which was a big song in its own right, but then it blew up, and no one can you can't funga the gate against a really good song. So I think we need to have one of those, a big song that's also lucky, that is, those songs that don't force, like Bloody Samaritan or some of the Thames tracks, where as he forces him, you just hear it and you're like, this is a good song, and it comes and lives with you. While we've had a lot of, like Camp Mula had that, those songs that, like, I remember being in Lagos like 2-3 years ago, and Camp Mula was still playing in the cab. And I remember recording it and being like, damn, this guy has really made moves. And that's something that we've had good songs, but we've not had that real push that supports a really good song to get that momentum where other people want to jump on it, or other people want to be like, we want more from this. A lot of our big songs are very inside stories, where it's like mostly Kenyans will really fuck with it.
Like
I'm sorry.
There's so many. Nah, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like when you were saying, it's a song that's meant for just us.
Yeah.
A song that's just meant for CC. But I also feel like a song like X.
Yeah.
Nikita Kering. Yeah. That song could go really far because you could play that song in SA, UG, TZ, Nigeria, and it'll just sound good.
The production quality is good.
The way she's singing, she's just singing in plain English.
Yeah.
That song could be played anywhere, it a hit too.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Is like it's not even just about having a good song. It's having a good song that ticks a lot of check boxes that sometimes you're not even thinking about as an artist. Where Till Infinity, for example, I didn't even know who, like, I liked that song for such a long time before I knew whose song it is. And So that's a mindset a lot of us need to now start having. It's like, oh, okay, it's not just about having a good song. You need to be strategic enough and then also hopeful.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And that makes sense. I understand. But now there's something else I want to talk about. Like, I'm just going to take you back to just a band.
Yeah.
There's a tape I have. I don't think a lot of people have it. Kudish.
Kudish.
I love Kudish.
Yeah.
I have it on my phone. You can't. I think you can get on Bandcamp.
On Bandcamp.
And it's free.
That's so. Jeez.
This is, I think, even before you guys. Is it before or after your first album?
Kudish was probably going to It came out around our third album.
Ah.
Because I think we were doing something. We had made an exhibition, a video art exhibition. Mm-hmm. And I think it was either leading up to our third, because in that, yeah, it was leading up to our third album.
This is such an interesting thing for me.
Yeah.
Because, do you know future funk, the genre?
Yes.
I love how it's in the same vein as Kudish.
Yeah.
I'm just taking something old.
Yeah.
Not even that old. I'm just giving it a new lease of life or a new production.
Yeah.
New BPM. Just the way you cut the vocals. Kila kitu. The Keroro track, I love that.
Keroro.
Hafare,
the remix.
Fly.
Yeah.
Now, is this something you like? I really enjoyed that aspect of just the playful nature of it. Is this something you wanna like revisit? Now, like we want a Blinky Bill mixtape.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I know there's like with streaming.
Yeah.
Because back in like I think in 2011.
Yeah.
2011, 2012, if you were big on the hip hop scene.
Yeah.
Before people put out albums,
yeah.
you had to put out mixtapes.
Yeah.
Because mixtapes were free.
Yeah.
They could travel far and they'd get pulled ready for the album. And for most part, I actually like the mixtapes more than the album. Like, Wiz Khalifa put out Taylor Alderdice before Only Nigga in First Class, and I go back to listen to Taylor Alderdice a lot more.
Yeah.
I like the production, I like the sampling, he was so laid back on there. And is this something, but now Sasa, because now you can just put out your music and put it immediately on streaming sites, that means you have to factor in like, do I get this sample clear, then my song is going to get taken down. But when you're putting out a mixtape, you don't have to worry about that. You can just be as playful as you want.
Yeah.
Is this something you would like to revisit?
It's something that I want to revisit, but also I know, like, even the guys themselves in Just a Band, because it was such a collective wave and effort. I think sometimes also I get torn in between putting out original ideas and stopping to dig up samples and push. And also we are a bit disadvantaged where we have so much good music in Kenya that, like, there's a song that we've sampled that I'm really trying to clear for the new tape that I've never had. Like, I was working with Dilly, and like we share a studio space. And one of the things that I like about Dilly is that Dilly has such a good ear. He's one of the greatest producers Kenya has ever made.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like, but in fact, this time I didn't even hear it. I was in Shags, came back. I was like, yo, bro, I've made this beat that I think you like. Then he plays it for me. Naina chapa yani. I was just like, it's also just shows the laziness of this. A lot of media houses where I'm like, how is this a Kenyan song when we've never had it? Then you look, I go dig, I'm like, this song came out in the 70s. But the procedure of clearing this song is so inaniboingi yani paka inafika point in time where I'm just like, you know what, it's easier to just move with
what you
original music.
Yeah.
But for some stuff I'll always do for the culture, even if it's a thankless job. But it's more like you do it for whoever it is that actually understands, is on that wavelength, which is why I'll always like, for me, the producers that dig deep, because sometimes we might be talking about media houses, but also it's the job of producers to put us on, which is why those Twitter pages that have like a sample and how it was.
Yeah, I love those things. That have been
pages.
I have a playlist on Apple Music called Inspired by Haya.
Yeah.
Haya is a playlist by my friend Suki. She's been on the show before.
I know Suki.
You know Suki, yeah. So Inspired by Haya, it's the same concept. I have the
original,
the original, and then the song that samples it, and it's such. And I always find new things.
Yeah.
Like you go back and find out that Big Old Freak by Meg Thee Stallion sampled Night and Day by I'll Be Sure. And it's like, wow, I never thought about the Tramps na Rubber Band by the Tramps, Hate to Love It by 50 Cent and the Game.
Yeah.
There's all of that. And now I want to go into my next question. Your sampling process. How does it work? Because there's a sample of yours I really like. I don't know if people even know you produced the song. I think people who are deep into music would know. But Ingo my appropriation kwaje.
I wanna do.
Yes.
I think I'll do. Getting.
That was Slimali and the Hodi Police.
Yeah.
That was such a. It's if you were like, if you're like an older person, somebody who's like in the quite old at this point, you hear that song, you'll be like, it'll take you back like the 70s. You're like, wait, see, Inigo Manani. And that's how I came to actually realize it was a sample. Because somebody was told by a much older person that, hey, this is a sample from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So one day I was like sitting somewhere listening to that song, and then they told me like, yo, go check out, this is actually the original sample. And I wondered like, how did you sit down and just go like through all those years of Kenyan music, kufika hapo, alafu kuseme, sawa, this is the one for me.
Bruh, like actually that song is probably what made me start sampling less. Because like sometimes I'll hear an idea and I used to really want to do this, like Dunia in a Mambo from when I was a kid.
Yes.
I knew that I want to remake this song. I didn't even know that's Mighty Cavaliers was a Kenyan band. I always used to think they were Congolese up until Tabu Susa told me these guys are Kenyan, so I had to look for them. With Something For You, I had that song, I had the original song, and my dad used to play this music when I was toy. So I knew the original. And then the thing with Something For You, it was supposed to be a Mudoni song.
Really?
Yeah. Like
I really hope there's a version of her somewhere out there.
No, we didn't end up recording because there's a day she came to my house and was like, yo, bro, I want to do, like, I feel like I want to chop some samples. So we were in the house just listening to some records that I had that had Workad Kando that I was going to sample. And I hopped on Something For You. You Can Do It, Slim Ali. And we chopped it up. And then, like, if you listen to it, you'll hear some Daft Punk type Nini, but slow down. The tench, like I was really trying to chop it like Daft Punk. So we ended up working on it, and the vocals was by this lady. She's a Ugandan pop star. She was in the Ugandan pop stars. I don't know why.
Blue 3.
One of those. Like Blue.
I think Blue 3. Like, see, this is like Coca-Cola pop stars back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's Blue 3. I think there's Cindy. I don't know who else. I've forgotten her.
There's one of them who was in Nairobi at the time and came through and sang the hook. But then that song stayed in my computer for such a long time. Then eventually I was just like, this is going to be another one of those songs that just sticks in my comp. So I ended up giving it to DQ. No, Octo came to my studio. I was like, hey, will you play some beats? I played for him that beat amongst other beats. It was just like, hey, then I was away for a while. I came back, Octo sends me a message like, hey, no song will you record? And he ended up recording it at Dilly's, but it was mixed and mastered by Musioka. So I knew about it when the song was coming out. I was like, oh, okay, it's cool. Mudonia, I've ended up making other songs for her. Well, she wasn't very happy about it.
I wouldn't, but that I mean, you want me to be like, damn. I guess it was fun.
She wasn't happy about it, but we've ended up making a lot of really cool tracks with Mudoni, which I think will keep the spirit of it alive. but also push it further.
Did you produce Kama Kawaida?
Kama Kawaida was Nani, what's his name? Was Kagwe. I produced Party Nation.
Yes, because I was thinking it was one of the two.
Yeah.
But it just slipped my mind.
Yeah.
But cool, man. Another thing about you I like, by the way, you're one of those people who, when you're playing a DJ set, you always play like music that is new but is dope. Because let me take you back a bit. 2017.
Yeah.
Was 2017? I can't remember really clearly. The time there was a gig, Diplo, at Carnival, and you had like opened up for him.
Yeah.
That was 2017, 18.
2017.
2017, sindio?
Yeah.
I remember, like I was in the crowd, I was vibing, nimelewa na jibamba, kawaida. And then you played Matsarunga.
Yeah. Before it blew up.
And I was there in the back. First of all, me name Sarungai.
Yeah.
Like raised over there, still live there, very proud of that place.
Yeah.
Second thing, I was in high school with Tunji.
Yeah.
He's also in Ronga.
Yeah.
He goes to school. I think he finished school the other day. And I had that song too, the way to go high school.
Yeah.
There's the grapevine really at high school, like, oh, Monsieur Ngomampe Tunji. And I was sitting in the house, I was like, even this is before they even had a video.
Yeah.
When he had just the artwork. And I was like, wow. And the video had like 1,000 views. I heard that Tunji told him, this is really dope. Like, I really like this. And then I'm there in the crowd, I'm just listening. I'm gonna scare you. Ding. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? How do you even know this track?
Bruh. Like, let me tell you, I'm one of those people who, if someone is doing dope stuff, even if it has two people, I'll be the third person that likes that thing. There's a song that I heard the other day. It was on Spotify's Friday. I was listening to the new music Friday. I was listening to it. I was just like, yo, this song is so fire. Then I go to YouTube and it has like 10 spins.
Which song is this?
It's by someone called something Da Vinci. Let me find it because I love that song. I live in Bona, Bamba. I have to find it because memory yangu pia haikuwagi vizuri. It's must be in my liked songs.
Also, Nani, I saw you, was it on Twitter or on?
It's called Lost the Stems, Luno Da Vinci. I've never heard of this person. But that song is so fire that I'm like, I really like it when Kenyans do stuff that's not kawaida. Because also pia, sometimes we praise a lot of made things. But I really like it when people just make stuff that is unexpected, because that's in the spirit of what I've always cared for. So when the first time I had that much Zarongan, I was like, nah, I'm gonna play this everywhere.
I was so shocked, man. Because for me it was like, like my homie starting to do music, supporting, just putting it on, people listen to it. And then you're at a show, there's like 5,000 people. And then you hear the song, you're like, wait. Come on, Nani also, like Nabiswa.
I like him as well.
Nabiswa, that's the homie. Like I remember, I don't know if it was Twitter or IG, you posted a video of you jamming to The Source.
Yeah.
I always pull, he had an album last year. No, this year.
Yeah.
Hafare and Other Stories.
Yeah.
There's so many. There's a song called Sunday Hangover on there that I love because of the Moi sample.
Yeah.
Pombe Funguliwe Kila Mahali.
Yeah.
That's the entire track and it's so dope. There's a guy called Michael Carpenter.
Yeah.
He has a song with a group called We Are STP. And the song is in English and Spanish. But it's by Kenyans.
Really?
And it sounds like Annual AA.
Yeah.
And it's so dope. And that's the thing I also appreciate about Kenyan music. It's so diverse.
Diverse, man.
You could listen to so many things and never even come to the conclusion this is a Kenyan artist.
I mean, shout out to Luno Da Vinci, man. That's Lost the Stems jam is fire. I heard it, I was like, also, whether they made the beat or they bought the beat, the flow on it is incredible. Even like a song like Shamra Shamra. That's one of my favorite Kenyan songs this year because they flowed so hard on that beat. Walijibamba.
You could tell they were having fun.
And
those guys
I wish we had a conveyor belt system where you do this dope thing and people with resources help you make more dope stuff. Because sometimes you end up making something really good, but you used all your resources to make that good thing. So you need, and that's how where record labels come in. Where it's like they see, okay, this song is banging, let's fund you, you go make
more
13 more bangers of these. Na hiyo ni shida si uko nayo, where it's like someone can make a really good song but they don't know what else to do.
The next step. We had Miami here like a few weeks back. We actually even discussed the same thing. Where it's like hakuna your guidance. Where you'd be like, oh man, this song is a jam. And then the next thing is, hey,
one hit
wonder, and you're like, like the song is a jam. I got 5 million views on YouTube. After this, nobody told me now. Now you've got 5 million views. This is what's next. Niggas vibe to your song and they're like, hey, fuck you now.
It's almost like this time there was a space the other day and I was invited, but
I was gonna ask you about that because Ivy was on the same space.
Yeah.
It was a straight one. So you're the one entire piano exit.
Gengeton.
Ivy called me. She was mad because initially they hadn't told her what the space was about.
Yeah.
They just called her and told her like, yo, we're having a Twitter space. We would like to discuss some music issues. I think it'd be dope. So when Ivy is there, she's seeing the post and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why am I here?
I was told, I didn't know who else was going to be on it, but I felt like the reason why I accepted to go on it was to actually counter that.
Yeah, that whole
because
narrative.
The fact is, genres will come and go. So don't be defensive about Genget. And I saw a lot of people being defensive about it. And I think, to me, it felt like more of Twitter hype, where people see something and they get riled up about it and become defensive. While the fact of the matter is, Kwaito came, Kwaito left. Gom came, Gom left.
Amapiano is here now.
Amapiano is here now. Amapiano will go. It's not about that. My issue was that a lot of time we don't give the Kenyan genres the lifeline that we'd give a lot of other people. Which, for me, that's the reason why I wanted to go and talk about it, because it will die or it won't change if we don't give it the opportunity to grow. And a lot of my issue with Genketon wasn't the sound, but it reached a point where it was not on a subject matter level. It wasn't growing. It wasn't changing.
I wrote about that, I think last year, that Genketon will reach a saturation point. You know, the problem with like anything that has a very low barrier of entry. Like, you know, for Gengeton track, you just need like as we said, just need a video, camera, and because like Ethic blew up of that, and then the next group of guys blew up of that. Now everybody thinks, oh, now we can do it, and we can just blow up of that. So unakuta, like, it's good until it's a point where there's too much of it, and they're all saying the same thing. In a saturation point where now you hear one Gengeton song, you're like, the next 10 are gonna be the exact same thing. There isn't even a change in flow, cadence, production. It's just a bunch of copycats. And I feel like Gengeton ilifika somewhere close to that, a saturation point.
So that was the issue for me. So I was like, as someone who I'm not making the same thing, but I've been on a song, like the song with Octo and Zero Sufuri, which is Gengeton. But for me, I was feeling like, as someone who's done some things before, coming to this space, I can help you. It might not be the same, we might not be doing the same thing, but I've prepared some things that could give you some keys, you know. I'll wake up and be watching Quincy Jones or Pharrell or Kanye interviews, Not because they make the same kinds of music like me, but because some things are universal. And some things, it's just Jay-Z can give you game that could save you time. Like, you don't need to do the same bullshit to get there, when someone can tell you, actually, there's a boat on the side of the river, that side of the river, get on it, get to this other side. But saa zingine, you can't reason with the mob because kila mtu anajua. Even people who've never really experienced like what it means, like, to come up, make some wins, make some losses. What did you learn from all these things? And then give this as feedback to someone else who's doing something different, but could use that insight. You say, by the watch and touch, and I'll never really jump on those things anymore because my focus is my career.
Good.
It's like, I could give anyone who wants game, but also you have to show that you want that game. It's like, if kama mnajua sana, simkae.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand, like, kuna watu watakuona unatuambia nani, wewe ni nani.
And hata ufanyi hauko kwa hii genre, which is the dumbest way to ever look at anything. Because anyone can teach you something. Like, anyone can give you game. As long as they're on and they're doing something, they're making something and growing or failing or whatever it is, you can learn from that person.
Of course.
But if you have the mentality that, umse anamekigi nini, so haezi niambia, we'll all stay in the same place. And someone can, like, just be like, actually, hakuna haja niongea hapa anymore.
Now, I want to go back to something you said before.
Yeah.
Umesema venye, like, guys can get a hit, and then they don't know what to do after that. So, let's take it back to, like, when Hafare came out. Because Hafare was, like,
a monster hit.
It was, like, Kenya's first true viral hit.
Yeah.
It just, like, was it because of the video?
No, to me, like, a year before, I was telling everyone, we have a song that's gonna change the game. And I remember when the album came out. The album came out a couple of months before we shot that video. But I was sending it to radio stations and being like, yo, I think this song is gonna do well. I don't think you can replace the song Hafare in that video and have the same impact.
Okay.
You can't. It's not possible. But, so, when the video came out, it brought it to life. And that's what music videos do, is they bring the song to life. Which, if you could have replaced the video with Migingo Express, it would not work. And eventually, when that song, that whole time period taught me so much. It was like, you have this big song, you feel like Akuna, you'll never come down from that.
Yeah, you're on that high now. You're like,
you're like, now. And then there's also, because there's no one before Just a Band who's ever had something like that. Hauna mtu wa ku reference. I remember Nameless calling me and be like, yo. And we didn't even used to talk that much. But he called me, he's like, yo, man, I see Mevuma. You need to capitalize, you need to monetize. And I started hating that word, monetize, because what does monetize mean? Because everyone was telling us that same thing. Na India apologies, you said, man, everybody can tell you how to do it. They never did it. Or not disrespectfully to anyone. But in that Nini, it was such a unique experience where it just feels like, yo, so guys are like, oh, let's make money off of this, but the spirit of Just a Band and the spirit of why we made this doesn't align with, like, if someone says, oh, Makumende should teach people how to wash hands. We'd make money off of it, but it's not like, it's not the vibe, it's not the universe of Makumende. So you end up killing off a character because sasa yuko pale anafundisha watu kuosha mkono. Where it's like, this thing should be, like, everyone should have been like, oh, okay, these kiddos have made something with nothing. Let's help you guys. Unajua ndio shida ya a lot of the mentality that people now. This is not a serikali's idea, but it's more of when someone sees you with a good idea, you don't have people who are able to actually come in and guide you and be like, yo. Because if we'd have been in the States or whatever, someone would have seen it and been, some movie company would have been like, let's make a movie out of this. Let's make things that actually make sense. Not
around this character.
Yeah, around this character.
Not just supplanting this character and then putting him in situations just because knew you up.
Yeah, knew you up. Which I'm so glad that we said no to that. But it did teach me a lot. Even now when the thing becomes big and then starts to come back down and land, and everyone's telling you monetize, but we're not really monetized because it's kind of like it's a win-lose situation. You'll win and you'll lose. Eventually, I had a lot of lessons off of that. So now when I see people come up, like I've known that feeling. Unfortunately, we didn't really try to push that we want to make another Macmende or any of that. It was more like, oh, this idea came to us. Boom, learn from it. Kichwa ikaanza kufura kiasi. But I'm glad that I learned that early, because when it came back down, I was just like, oh, okay, we made this thing, but it didn't change our lives in the way that we thought it would, but it ended up changing our lives forever in terms of we took that video to the States. We had a lot of shows off of it. We played summer stage, we played like opening for Amadou and Mariam off of that, the notoriety of that song, South by Southwest. Things that in a way fast-tracked us playing for international audiences as opposed to
get it. Like the people who are telling you to monetize, they haven't seen like this could be another option.
It could be, or it could be bigger than.
It could be bigger than just the money.
Yeah, it could be bigger than just the money.
I understand. The money is important. Let's not even lie. Let's not even lie. The money is important, but being able to see beyond that is something a lot of people don't have. Because my favorite rapper is Currency. I listen to a lot of Currency.
Yeah, he's dope.
I started listening to Currency like 2010. He's been making music consistently and just getting better at it.
So many albums.
Yeah, and he has a very good ear for beats. Consistently over the last, decades. At the same time, like around 2011, Meek Mill blew up. So the other day, I saw Meek Mill tweeting like, he doesn't know how much money he even has because his label is like he's fucking him over. He tweeted something to that effect. Like he doesn't have money because the label is screwing him over.
Yeah.
Currency just worked with like an NBA team. Just released a capsule match with an NBA team. He's living really well off the effort of 10 years of music where not everybody knows you, but you have enough of a fan base to be rich and famous and successful, and that fan base is dedicated enough to keep you like going forever. And I feel like even for him, I saw an interview, he said like it reached a point where because he was the first artist that was signed to Young Money. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, Currency was the first ever artist signed to Young Money. This is 2007. And when he was dropped, it was on the time though, like he was dropped, then they brought in Drake, Nicki Minaj. Now Young Money became a force after he was dropped. And he went home and he was like, yo, like, does that mean I'm not somebody who can make money for the label?
Yeah.
Then he met up with the producer, decided, I'm just gonna start making music for me.
Yeah.
And that's the point where he started being successful, making music for himself. And I also feel like that's something you do. I don't think your music But I don't think you'll be somebody who will listen to a song and be like, I want to make a song like that.
Yeah.
But I want to copy somebody else's style. Even though it's more successful, has more YouTube views than you stay true to who you are.
Yeah.
And you're the most important artist in Kenya.
Oh, thank you, man.
Because of that, literally, there are people, when you have beats, they go to songs in your vault that you've never put out. I know there's so many artists who would love to just be able to come and not even just listen to what you've done.
The old vault.
Because you are like now the inspiration to a whole new generation of artists who are like, yo, if Blinky did his thing on his own terms and he made it, he's successful, he's out there, he's working. You just said like you played South by Southwest, Nini, all those things. I could do it too. I don't have to abide by the industry rules. Kuambiwa that, oh, you want to sound something, you have to ngoma like ngoma za Otile.
Yeah.
Oh, you're 3 singers, let's turn you to the next Sauti Sol, you know. Yeah. You just do what you want, eventually it's going to work out for you.
Yeah, and thank you for that.
Get your flowers while you're here, man.
I feel like one of the things that is super important to me is, like, I listen to so much music, bro. I listen to a lot of music. But also the people that I've always really liked, even from when I was a kid, are the guys who just do their own thing. Where someone like Prince, or like when Kanye first came in and hip-hop was this, and then Kanye came in and just changed the game completely. I think that a lot of times Kenya and Kenyan music is trying to appeal to the masses.
Of course.
And I think it's a big disservice that has been played on the audience for a long time, because to me, we have such great artists. Like, bruh, and I'm always thinking, like, why is Kanye alipataje Ayubo Gada's track to sample it on that year album when that same song doesn't even play that much on Kenyan radio? I remember, kuna time nilikuwa, I was playing a gig in an island called Sao Tome. It was my first time there. So my band walikuwa wameenda, mimi nilikuwa nimepoteza passport. Nilipata passport place West. So I was almost missing this gig and the tour was almost being cancelled. Then eventually I missed that flight, went to West, found where I'd left my passport, and I was booked on the next flight. I'm like in this island where we were eating, and then the resident band there, someone went and started playing Malaika. Malaika. And to me, it was wild. Not that it's my favorite Kenyan song ever, but the fact that it had traveled to this island where, like, I didn't even know where it was on the map. And I'm listening to it, and it just made me feel like tumefanywa disservice biggie, where we don't have a full spectrum of the depths of Kenyan music. It's always like a lot of what's a radio hit, that's what you get to hear. So a lot of people who could have been good artists have fallen on the wayside because they just felt like it was not for them. And that's something that I've always been very stubborn about. I could remake the songs that I could remake and would make me a bigger artist in that sense. But I'm like, I'm not doing another high. Once we did that, it's done. I'm not making another attention. We did that, it's done. But also I get to experiment with such a wide breadth of music that hakuna mtu I have a new song with Calligraph and another African rapper on the new tape. Hakuna mse ataini show siezi rap, ama kuna mtu ataini show siezi imba. Like whatever it is I'm feeling at that point, I'm gonna do it. Ukitaka kukasirika, that's on you. But for me, how I'm gonna do, I'll be buried when I've done all. If I want to make a jazz album, I'll make a jazz album. If I want to make a funk record, I'll make that funk record. Because si wambiwa sana, oh, you need to be like this or you need to be like that. Nah, fuck that. That's my mentality.
That's amazing. Like, I agree with you, man. Fuck that.
Hey,
You can't be boxed in.
you can't be boxed in. And, bruh, I was listening to the Donda album, and there's a song on there called 24.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I heard it, I was just like, Kanye and the guys who wrote this song are such good songwriters. But it didn't feel to me like Kanye's voice was the best fit for it, which I also understand as a songwriter, because sometimes, and that's how I started singing. So I used to be told, oh, your voice won't work for this, or your voice won't work for that. And a lot of Kenyan singers used to be R&B. We're very influenced by R&B.
Yes.
So I couldn't find an in there. But when I listened to Bob Marley, he sings great. Like, he carries the melody. He's not a Beyonce, but I just like his singing. And what I understood that the most important thing about your voice is your voice. Like how you sound, that's different from everyone else. So nikaanza kuimba. And now, like, I've been able to stretch and experiment with my voice so much that if I listen to people who told me you can't do this or you can't do this, or they can sing better than me, or yeah, you can sing better than me, but where's your record?
There's always gonna be somebody who's like, that's the thing. There's always gonna be somebody who can sing better than you.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be somebody who's a better
singer, better rapper, better.
There's always gonna be a better than you, but
when I listen to Drake on 24, I was like, I want Drake's version. I would have even wanted Drake's version, Kirk Franklin's version, because it's such a well-written song. The melody is dope. Kanye did the most that he could do with it. But when I had Drake's version, I'm like, now you can see the full potential. And there's songs that I've written that I feel like maybe someone else could do a better cover than me. But it's my baby. It's my vision. So, and that's how covers come. Because someone else hears the song and it resonates with them and they do it in their own way. And then you hear it and just, oh man, it sounds so good.
There's a song, actually speaking of covers, a song I want to reference, like, it's a song by Queen. What's it called? No. It's Too Much Love Will Kill You.
Too Much Love
by Queen.
Yeah.
Originally, like the version that's on like the album is sung by Freddie Mercury. He does the vocals. But originally it's a Brian May song. Brian May actually sang it himself. He wrote it, he sang it. And when you listen to both songs, they feel completely different. It's the same song, same lyrics, same arrangement, kila kitu, but they feel like two completely different songs. Yeah. And these are people who are in the same band. Yeah. They're not even people who have never interacted. I don't know how they make music together every day. Yeah. But once you listen to that version, it's like, yo, I didn't know. Like this could sound so, because Freddie Mercury's version is made to be like a stadium song. Yeah. Loud, like supposed to be sung by so many people together with him. But Brian May's version is more heartfelt. It's more like I'm writing this to a single person and I'm pouring out all my emotions.
Exactly.
But it's the same song. That's the funny thing.
And even I'll give you an example. Just a band, Monetizing, there. When you listen to the original, which was done by this guy from Tanzania, and for me, when I heard the music, the original version, it was done by Issa Juma. When I listened to his version, so it's like Matatiza, but it's like a dance track. But when I listen to the lyrics, Ayambatani Kwangu. So we did that cover, and it's more like really slow. The lyrics are the same, But now you get to understand the lyrics more deeply, because when you're dancing to it, it's like a super sad song.
Yeah,
You're
I get-
dancing
You're
to
vibing. You're not really paying attention.
Yeah, but the writing was incredible. Shout out that guy. That guy wrote the hell out of that song.
I like this song and Vire Kitenge. When when it's playing, guys are like, oh, nimevalishwa kitenge. Yo, that song is really sad.
Yeah.
Guys saying about the first thing he says. I think the first thing in the song is, I think I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
Like it's all about how he's getting married too early.
Yeah.
Like, and he's not ready for it, and he doesn't know what to do. But now you go to enter club, play ngoma, all the girls are gonna start singing that song because they're not really listening to what he's saying.
It's all like probably for love, where it's a breakup song. But we were once invited to sing it at a wedding. I was like, oh, you want this song? So,
Tutakuimbia, as long as you're paying.
Yeah.
Now, I think we have maybe like 15 minutes left.
Okay.
Kenyan artists, who are you feeling right now? Who's somebody you like? If I had an opportunity, I'd really like to work with them.
There's a producer called Manchild.
Who's here? He's dope.
Manchild is so good.
Manchild, if you're listening.
But we are working together. So he actually did produce a Janshan.
I'm talking about somebody you haven't worked with yet.
Someone who I haven't worked with yet.
Yeah,
Boutros. I think Boutros is cool. Jovi Jov.
Oh yeah.
I think I would love to write something with Nikita.
Oh yes.
But also there's so many cool Kenyan artists right now. Like, I've never been happier to see so many different Kenyan artists come up. I'm very excited to see where Triomir is gonna go.
Oh, I love Triomir.
Where, like, when his voice sits in, because you can see like his pen game is super strong.
Yeah.
And it's just starting out.
The sky is the limit for him.
The sky is the limit.
It's the limit for him because he's rapping at such a high technical level. Him and a rapper are because a lot of people, just technique alone, he's so far ahead.
He's technique. Yeah, I might be even forgetting some artists right now. Well, nikifika home ndio nitakumbuka.
Ni sawa true, ina shida. Utawapata eventually because there's always new opportunities to work, maze, because we're coming into a new year.
Yeah, exactly.
We're coming into new space, new music. Like, yeah. Speaking of Kwanzaa, before you tell us what you're working on, what have you been vibing to this year?
What have I been vibing to? A lot. I've really enjoyed Focalistic's run.
Oh.
I think he's such a good rapper. And also the way they ride the beat, where, when you think about rappers and you're like, it's this hardcore, or like, kuna cadence fulani rappers have. But you think about Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, Focalistic, who can jump on a dance beat and make you feel something. I really like those kinds of rappers. So I loved his project, Lil Sims.
Oh, Lil Sims, sometimes I
might introvert.
I might be introvert. Yeah.
Such a good
That was
project.
such a wow, and the whole concept behind it, amazing. That is one of this. I think it was like those BBC. I don't know what BBC it was. They voted album of the year in the UK, and fully deserved. Like, to me, top 5 albums I've listened to this year.
Yeah. There's a group called Bicep. It's an electronic group, and they sampled. There's a song called Kilamu we did with Idaziz, and this group called Surrounding. They picked from that batch of samples, which is I don't know if they're Kenyan samples or African samples. And that song, but it's more electronic, so I've been playing it a lot in DJ sets.
I'm gonna flow for that.
Yeah. What's it called? J. Cole? Nani?
I don't really like J. Cole Malpe.
But I liked some of the songs on this new
Here's the
album.
thing. The weird thing about J. Cole, this new album is he
What did you
decided
like
to-
about him?
I don't know, like for a while, I used to find J. Cole really preachy.
I get that.
I don't like when rappers, I feel like rappers
Wow.
are preaching to me.
Yeah.
Like they're giving me a sermon.
Yeah.
So I tended not to gravitate away from his music.
Yeah.
Like I could listen to Kendrick, or
Kendrick will preach at you.
Kendrick won't preach at me like that. Like there's still a message, yes, but it's not in such a
Change your ways.
Yes, man. It's the same way like with Tupac. Tupac was very socially conscious, but for the most part, you never felt like he was talking down to you.
Yeah.
He was just telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like J. Cole, but the album was good. The Offspring was quite a good album because he steered away from that. He even had features like the whole Platinum with no features thing. I've never really liked it because it's such a weird talking point when Kevin Gates did the same thing the same year.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this really like you end up with Platinum with no features?
You have to find a way to sell an album.
Okay, okay.
Particularly in this time now, where it's like, what's your selling point? Which is the way things are.
Yeah, but that was the same time it was a bad album. Because even though I don't really like J. Cole that much, it was a good record.
Isaiah Rashad.
House is burning.
But also I like Isaiah Rashad because he also doesn't really care in that sense. He cares for the work, but he doesn't care what else is trending that time when his album is dropping. It's more like, and his music gets better with all the listens. The more you listen to it, the better it becomes.
And I feel even for him, there was such a big weight between The Sun's Tirade and that was Bunny.
Has never bored me.
Like it was like 5 years, huh? There was such a big gap, and guys are like, we just want new music.
Yeah.
And then he put out something that good. That was dope.
Yeah. For you?
For me, a lot of future funk, a lot of Young Bay, Macros 829. I really like future funk just because of the idea behind it. Just take a song, let's give it a new lease on life. Songs like Mayona Kanodo. This is a song that came out in like 79. It's a hit, like it's easy. The artist who did it even passed away before it became like one of the biggest songs on the internet. It became huge on TikTok. What? Plastic Love by Maria Takeuchi. So these are all Japanese songs. Finally got a video. The song came out in like 83. It got an official video like 3 weeks ago.
What?
Because of how big it just got on the future funk scene, like it spread Nanini. The work guys like Night Tempo are doing. It's an artist called Tatsuro Yamashita. He does jazz and pop and city pop in Japan. He's blowing up. Also, I listened to a cover of his. He did a cover of Lala Means I Love You. Amazing. That's what I've been listening to. A lot of Kenyan stuff. A lot of Griselda.
Griselda was Makomi.
Yes. Oh yeah, Makomi. Pray for Haiti.
Yeah.
And
in fact, his voice on that Kate Ranada record is amazing.
Yeah, see, you pay for Haiti. And the thing is that the pay for Haiti thing is actually a Cash App tag where you can actually send money to his charity. That's building schools and like cultural centers in Haiti.
I even like the idea of Griselda because they're so like they've been making music for a long time, and it feels like the success has come late in terms of how old they are, but also just how cool it is. And it's like when it's cool, you don't need explanations for CUE. I really like that.
But don't you think they might be old, but I feel like the success has come at the right time?
Yeah.
Because even guys like Freddie Gibbs, she's 39, just got a Grammy nod. He got a Grammy nod at 39. You've been rapping since 2006.
Yeah.
Your success comes but you succeeded on your own terms.
Exactly.
And that's the difference. Like, I even saw him tweeting that. Like, when I was broke, I was rapping to get paid. Now I'm rapping to see how good I can be.
Exactly.
Now, like, I'm 39. I've spent years honing my craft.
Yeah.
Being as good as I can be. Like, it's like a samurai master.
Yeah.
You've spent so many times mastering the slash, nini.
Yeah.
And if you point, you can do it in your sleep, right?
Safi. And I like that because even a lot of times in the music industry, it makes it feel like when you can only succeed when you're young. When my favorite, Quincy Jones, made Kina Thriller when he was close to 50, which is wild. I don't know how old Conductor Williams is.
Conductor.
But there's not a lot of information on him.
Yeah.
But I like that thing that you become better at what you do, and that's the merit. It's like I always want to do better stuff than I did back in the day. That's always my goal. So if it's not better, I'm digging new ground. It's like if I can't match that what I did then you'll find me in the field figuring out what's a new idea that I can pull off, as opposed to trying to be like, oh man,
you should listen to my old shit.
Listen to like my old shit, buy my old albums.
That really, and especially for an industry like the music industry where you're supposed to be big when you're younger.
Yeah.
And just like the older you get, people are expecting you to get worse.
Yeah.
It gravitates towards young artists, and so people rarely have very long runs at the top unless you're very special. You're given like a 3-4 years, and after 3-4 years after I'm okay, now we're done with you. Yeah. We're now too old for this. Now you just go on, retire gracefully. Because I feel like an artist like Big Boy, I feel like he gets very little respect that he actually deserves because of his pairing with Andre 3000. But at the same time, you listen to his solo work and it's so good.
Big Boy is a legend.
One of my favorite albums, top 5. Salucious Left Foot, The Son of Chico Dusty. That is such a good album. But because now he's moved on from Outkast and all the good things that they do, the attention gravitates more towards Andre and to see what he's doing musically, which isn't really that much squeezy. He's just enjoying himself. But for Big Boy, he just put out an album last Friday.
Yeah.
The Big Sleepover, and Sleepy Brown. And it's dope.
I need to check it. I think the Nini is someone like Andre will always have people's hearts because of how he writes. But Big Boy is a works man. It's like he's the guy who works so hard. You can't outwork him. Nani is more effortless. Andre is more effortless. His verse on that Kanye album was so incredible that it makes you remember that, oh, this is why this guy is special. Big Boy is special because he just grinds. He just grinds and creates some really dope stuff. And because of that, again, as you're saying, because of that pairing, people sometimes tend to ignore. I don't think Outkast would have existed in the way they did if they didn't have that
the balance
bouncing off of each other.
Because Big Boy has a record called Big Grams with Fantogram. Who do I think they're genreless.
It's like electronic music.
Yeah, it's like electronic music and it's so good. They have a song with Randa Jewel. And this is from 2015. Yeah. He's been doing this shit for a minute.
But also, today when I was coming here, I was listening to Doja Cat's old stuff. And I think she's another example of a person who she's been grinding for a long time. And you could say that her older music is better. But I think that I love the idea of just evolving. What's the music for? What's this time we're in? This is the stuff I'm making right now. As you check, but when you check the resume, so much work.
Yeah. So I think we're about to finish.
Yeah.
So just want the last few things. What's coming in 2022 for you?
2022, my new album drops.
Can you get a name?
When I started, I called it We Cut Keys 2.
Yeah, I remember you tweeted, I think, We Cut Keys 2 is coming.
And then, the first We Cut Keys was an EP that I was working on while working towards an album. But now this is such a fully fledged album. But I think I'll still call it We Cut Keys 2 because I wanted people to see the gap in terms of the growth between me when I was making my first solo project and me now as a producer on this project. And it's day and night, but it's my best work yet by far.
You know, like sound unaanza kuexcite watu hapa mazee. Release date, any tentative, ama tungoje utashock drop ka Beyonce.
Utashock drop ka Beyonce.
No rollout, no promo.
Yeah, boom. No, I'm hoping for around April. But just know, like, I've never been excited about a project like this because I look back at my old work, like, let's say the last album, and there's so many ideas that I wanted to pull off, but it's almost like, what are the tools you're working with? This is what I'm working with. Now I just feel like I've worked on a lot of the good ideas on Everyone's Winging It, and then it's like bridged it up way nicely, bridged the ideas that I felt like I wanted to pull off but didn't have the technical ability to pull off. Now I've bridged that gap. I wish I could drop it tomorrow.
Should I put the advance copy?
Advance.
Send us an advance copy. Send us a song to drop exclusively. Simeskia, like it's on record now.
It's on record.
That's so dope. Like, it's always good to know. Just know that there's new music coming out from you.
Yeah.
People are always excited by your music.
Oh man.
How does it feel to be like, you know, that guy who's like, yo, new Blinky dropped. Yo, we have to do it now.
No, it's good for me because I've been doing this for a long time, and I just always, like, the other day I was talking to some youngins and I could hear a lot of people saying they're producer, DJs, which never used to be the case when we were starting out. I'm like, I'm so proud to be able to see this thing come together where, like, other people who have just been observing me and the gang do this thing, and they're also like, oh, if those guys can do it, we can do it. And they can push the idea further. So for me, it's exciting because, yeah, I'm dropping a new project. But even when that drops, I'll still be like, no, I still can do better than this. So it just keeps me motivated to go back to studio.
Wonderful, Basil.
Yeah.
Last question.
Ask it.
There's been murmurings, rumors of a potential, you know, just a band reunion. Shed some light on my badum or...
Just a band, man. Also, that's such an important part of the journey for all of us because we all occupy a space in the Kenyan art scene where you look at the impact Jim Chucho has had, you look at the impact Mbithi has had, you look at the impact Dan has had as individuals, which we could not have after... Sorry for the delay. I don't think we were operating on fumes. And I don't think I'd have had the confidence to be here as a solo artist if we kept pushing. So it was sad at the time, but now that I look back at it, everything's worked out in the right way because we've made our own individual bodies of work. And so, yeah, it's cool to be able to even talk about coming back and make music as just a band. And yeah, that also comes out in 2022. So,
yo, you had it here first, because you know, I think the only reunion that might be as anticipated as yours, ni Camp Mula, but you know, we know that's not happening. So to know at least that there's new just a band music coming in 2022. Naksho, you've already made next year better than this year. Like, there's new Blinky Bill, there's a solo tape coming, there's a new just...
Yeah. It's gonna be cool. Like, and also to see that everyone is still as passionate, passionate about growing, still, like, what's the new... With just a band, it's always been. And even just being in the group, I don't think we at the time when we were forming Just a Band, it was almost like we had this candle that we were the only ones who could protect because nobody else understood what we were trying to do. And we had to shikilia each other because there's no one else who could support it. But now it's like looking back at it and like, damn, I'm so glad I've been able to go through all these phases of being an artist and just make the art we want to see exist. And that's always been the ethos. It's not really about what everyone else is doing. We could adopt some things that we like in what everyone else is doing right now, but the vision is always to push the envelope forward. And I don't even think, if we're being honest, Just a Band got the flowers that it deserved because it was too, yeah, you know.
I get you.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for coming through. It's been such a dope conversation. Umetuangushia tips, bombshells, everything else. This has been an interview I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm glad I finally done it. Come through again, if when you put out the album, if you wanna come through, talk about
it.
Please.
I think this one we'll have to sit down and talk about it.
When Just a Band, the album, please, kujeni water. We'll have a bigger space. Please, kujeni water.
You don't know, man.
Yeah, that would be an interview, because when my aunt was here, I was asking her like, yo, because that's for me. After that I can stop.
Yeah.
If you can interview all 4 members of Just a Band at once, I could stop. I told my aunt that when you're here. Thank you again. Thank you for all of you who've been listening throughout the year. It's been this is like 25 episodes this year. Yeah, like, thank you all of you for fucking with us. We appreciate it. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and only thing I want for Christmas is there's an M-Pesa number down here.
To my kid.
All you have to do is just send 100 bob. Whatever you are, whatever you're doing, these are the people you're bringing. Like,
to my kid.
This is the quality of guests we're getting you guys. Next time to party.
Come US.
Yeah, next time tuache kunywa like maji ya kanjodi.
Maji ni poa, kunyweni maji.
Nataka maji uzima lakini.
Yeah.
So what do you want? Just send us 100 bob on the number if you can. If you can't, it's all love. Keep listening, keep sharing. I think this is one of the best episodes we've ever done. And this is the only episode nimeifanya peke yangu, and I think it went well. Thank you guys for listening. See you in season 6.